We like to visit our business clients. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
The Bucks are ready to face Luka and the Lakers at Fiserv Forum.
Lillard drives, nice find underneath, and Giannis rocks the rim with a two-hand slam.
Our coverage begins tonight at 6 on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:01, it's 35 degrees in downtown Milwaukee. Mostly sunny today, low 50s near the lake, up to 60 inland. Good viewing weather potentially for the lunar eclipse tonight, partly cloudy and a low down to 42. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. We're expecting to soon see more serious charges for a Waukesha teenager arrested in Kansas for theft of his dead stepfather's property. 17-year-old Nikita Kassab in custody on a $250,000 bond this morning, charged with stealing his stepfather Donald Meyer's car, as well as his handgun. While no charges have been filed related to the deaths of Meyer or Kassab's mother Tatiana, the teen does remain a person of interest in their deaths, and the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office says additional charges are forthcoming. Kassab's preliminary hearing is set for March 24th. Happening right now, the caretaker of a toddler found dead last year near Two Rivers is back in court. Jesse Vang has pled not guilty to 3 felony counts, including hiding a corpse. The charges stem from the death of 3-year-old Elijah Vu, the boy who went missing from Two Rivers in February of last year. Vang was the one to report Vu missing, that according to police. Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, returns to court for a status conference in June on felony child neglect charges. Kenosha police identifying the body found in Lake Michigan at Eichelman Park earlier this week as that of 18-year-old Kayla Sobczak of Kenosha. Sobczak had been missing since December 17th. Her death's investigation remains ongoing. At the national level, Elon Musk's Doge team says it's been looking at the Social Security Administration's phone system for potential fraud. It's now saying it will back away from making any big changes for the moment, but there will be one adjustment to the Social Security group by the end of the month.
Starting March 29th, Social Security recipients will no longer be able to use the agency's phone service to update banking information for their direct deposits. Recipients will have to use the internet or go in person. ABC News first reported last week that Doge was examining the phone service as part of a broader anti-fraud effort. The new change is relatively minor. Advocates say they still worry more changes could be in store, whereas President Donald Trump says only fraud is being targeted. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, Washington.
And we're watching right now as a strong storm beginning today with rain and snow in Southern California could cause trouble across much of the country over the next few days, and that includes here in southeast Wisconsin. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
Several strong tornadoes possible amidst this widespread damaging wind event that's going to happen from southeastern Iowa right through St. Louis, Champaign, Illinois, Memphis. Going to see this, and this is Friday night.
The north end of that storm moves through southeast Wisconsin Friday evening. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore says while much of tomorrow will be warm and dry, that changes overnight.
Here come the storms Friday evening into Friday night. Mainly 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the window I'm looking at for most of those storms to arrive. We do have a level 1 and 2 risk for severe weather.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in about 4 minutes. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. One of the roughest weeks of the year for the stocks continuing this morning. The Dow down 158 points this hour at 41,193. The NASDAQ off 216 at 17,432. And the S&P 500 is down 38 points at 5,561. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:04.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and Chris are joined by Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Hey, there's free pizza today at the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the free pizza days. Seriously, it's free. Coaches, managers, business owners, listen up. Check this out. Every Thursday, when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 2, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get it. Bring in your basketball, wrestling, hockey, gymnastics, volleyball team, or your club organization for free pizza after your practice or game. Your players are going to love that huge game room. It's super affordable team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees. Half those pizzas are free. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and Oshkosh near the EAA. It's right off the interstate. Tons of seating, tons of close parking. Buy one pizza today, get one free. That's tons of value. Plenty to take home for tomorrow. Order now and pick it up shortly or dine in. A reminder, the Friday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa, that's great value. Walk in today for your free Thursday pizza. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks back at home tonight. They're taking on the Lakers. They'll do so, will the Lakers, without LeBron James. He is out for the game tonight. Also, day-to-day still Luka Doncic. He's listed as questionable for tonight's game with an ankle injury. Our coverage begins at 6 here on your home of the Bucks, WTMJ. The Brewers back at it this afternoon against the White Sox out in Arizona. Our next Brewers broadcast on WTMJ is this Saturday against the Giants. And conference tournament action begins today for both Marquette and Wisconsin men's basketball. Golden Eagles facing Xavier in the Big East tournament this afternoon, while the Badgers in Indianapolis in the Big Ten tournament take on Northwestern. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding it a whole lot more. Checking the roads now, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. A trio of crashes we've got right now on the stretch from 27th Street West to the Zoo on 94. We start at 94 West 35th Street, 2 left lanes blocked there due to a crash. Got backup stretching from 35th all the way to near 13th Street. Also have a crash heading the other way, Holly Road to 94 East on that ramp. And so we've got backup stretching to about 70th Street there. And a fresh crash just a few minutes ago on the ramp, right lane 94 East to 894 South in the Zoo. And so backup stretching to about Greenfield there. And your WTMJ 5-day forecast for today, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures pretty much throughout southeast Wisconsin will be in the 50s to near 60, though a little bit cooler near Lake Michigan. Mild tonight, partly cloudy, low of 42. Keep your eye on the sky for the lunar eclipse tonight. Partly cloudy, a warm Friday, 63 near the lake, 72 inland. We are watching for the rain and thunderstorms moving late on Friday into the overnight to Saturday, and some of those storms again could be on the strong side. 61 mostly cloudy for your Saturday proper. Sunday, a bit chillier, 40 degrees, possible flurries. A little warmer Monday, mostly sunny, and a high of 52. Right now in Madison, sun and 36. Green Bay, mostly cloudy, 35. Waukesha, mostly sunny and 37. And in Milwaukee, it is mostly sunny and 35 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:09.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Yes, my turn to talk on the program, on the station. I know we don't say it much anymore, but still the biggest stick in the state. 620 WTMJ News Radio, 620 WTMJ, real news department, not fake news. Great reporting. Just heard Adam Roberts. And you had Vince and Eric in the morning show. A little self-promotion is a good thing, right? You hear a lot of noise in the radio world about all this stuff. Since I'm handing out kudos, I'm going to talk this half hour about the Supreme Court debate in Wisconsin. I got to start by saying, and I'm biased because Matt Smith is a regular contributor to my show. He was here on Monday. Both Matt Smith and Jaron Jordan from Channel 12 in Milwaukee, well done, gentlemen. So I have been a harsh critic of many of the local TV debates, coverage, all that stuff. Some of the national networks, their job in debates, because they're train wrecks. They're overproduced. They underserve the public when it comes to information. They often become shouting fests. And I was impressed last night by the moderation by Jaron and Matt, the questions they asked, the persistence of the questioning, and we'll talk about some of that in the second segment. I like when local journalists, for lack of a better phrase, do their damn job. You're not there to upstage the candidates. You're not there to make headlines yourself. You're asking really smart, informed questions. And you can tell both Jaron and Matt had done their homework on all these issues. Funding for this campaign, now at a record level. That was certainly a big hot topic. Rape kits, obviously we'll spend some time on that. Just the rule of law, how both candidates perceive that. And I'll give credit to the candidates. And both of them I will be interviewing along with Adam Roberts next week for a show we're putting together next Wednesday where we'll have all of their comments about all these things. Both candidates and their campaigns have agreed generously to participate, so we'll probably air that on Wednesday's show. And we're sitting down with them on Tuesday. So I'm going to say to the candidates, now I know Brad Schimel. I've actually introduced him at events, known him for a while. Big fan of his work as the Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin. Big fan of his work as a prosecutor. And he mentioned that during debates last night. The fact that he's put his time in, as has Susan Crawford, by the way. Now, I have to be honest, I've never met Susan Crawford, and when I talk to her next week, that'll be the first time. But what impressed me about the candidates last night is they just answered the questions for the most part. They weren't trying to throw out zingers, although I don't know if she did it on purpose. She called Judge Schimel, Elon Schimel, at one point. And maybe she was trying to be clever, maybe she wasn't, maybe she just misspoke. I don't know, because Elon Musk was certainly a hot topic during the debate, and he should be, because the fact is he's the leading contributor to this record-setting campaign, at least the cost of the campaign. We're going to hear from the candidates in the next segment. I'll give you a few thoughts on what they say or don't say in these brief bits of audio. As always, your comments are welcome on the Signing Unlimited, WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. I'll try to weave some of that in as well. Special guest on the program today. Everybody says, you need to have a conservative on to talk about this. Well, you know what? I listen to my listeners. At about 9:21, my congressman, about as conservative as it gets, with common sense built in, Brian Stiles is going to join us, give us his thoughts about what he saw in the debate last night. So there you go. What a refreshing idea that a host of a radio show actually listens to his texters, callers, when we take calls, which is not very often, and people who just enjoy what we're doing here in the Political Power Hour. Just getting warmed up. Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profiled the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
Ryan Lathrop, school bus driver, coming his way, a semi-truck in the other lane, and it's creeping over the center line.
Tried to get around him, see if I couldn't avoid him, and he ended up going right down the side of my bus. I don't feel that I'm a hero. I did just doing my job.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Save up to 50% on the project, then save so much more on your energy costs. Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Apply for multiple generous rebate programs that can cut the cost of home insulation in half. Jeff and his team perform an energy audit to help you qualify. Then the project, filling your walls with quieting, filtering, insulating foam that saves you money on heating and cooling from day one. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
I don't have any personal loyalty to him that supersedes the oath I take as a judge. There's no question.
Did Justice Hagedorn make the right decision in this?
You've got to tell me which case you're referring to.
The 220,000 absentee ballots.
Boy, I don't know. I'd have to review that case. It is the decision of the court, and that's final. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is the final word when it comes to what a Wisconsin statute means or the Wisconsin Constitution means. So we should be these people should pay better attention to these April court races.
That is Judge from Waukesha County, Brad Schimmel, one of the candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court. We're going to also hear from Judge Crawford here in a second. Talking about both Elon Musk and all of the shenanigans of 2020 is how most people refer to all of that. And I have a lot of respect, tremendous respect for both candidates and certainly Brad Schimmel, who I've known for a little bit of time. I think he's done a great job as both a judge and as an attorney general for the state of Wisconsin. So that's my bias built in. Here's what I'll say, and I respect Judge Schimmel, as I just indicated. There are clear answers for the 2020 questions because they're still going to pop up. We heard it in the debate last night on Channel 12. We're going to continue to hear these as this race goes forward and probably ad nauseum, because that is an interesting piece of our U.S. history now and certainly state history when it comes to the election in 2020. Look, the election is decided. Joe Biden has already served his term. Donald Trump is the president. We got through all this stuff, but at the time, and the 4 years after 2020, and some of it's still ongoing, spent a lot of time on nonsense. Stupid. Crazy. One doesn't have to look any further than the Gableman investigation to understand the risks and the dangers of spending time on nonsense. It's expensive. It makes us all seem dumber. And at the end of the day, change nothing because nothing needed to be changed. That's all I can say about it. Let's hear from Judge Crawford.
When he was in front of what he thought was a private audience of his political allies, he said that he believed that the Wisconsin Supreme Court screwed Trump over in 2020 when it rejected his effort to throw out the results of the Wisconsin election in 2020. He has said that he is part of Donald Trump's support network. He is partisan. He is not impartial. And he says different things in front of a broad audience like this when he knows it's going to be televised than he'll say when he's talking to his political allies. He is not trustworthy.
Judge Susan Crawford responding to the question. Look, I think most candidates, I don't care if it's the Supreme Court or governor, they say things to their assembled troops, not real troops, but supporters, that they probably wouldn't say in a debate or in an interview with the media, legacy or otherwise. And I think when you go down that road, you should expect to be called on it. And I think that's certainly a good debating point by Judge Crawford. I think if you look at this question, though, I'm pretty clear on this. We spent a lot of time on nonsense, a lot of radio time on all of the hoopla post-2020, and it didn't serve us in any positive way. And matter of fact, my opinion made a lot of people look really foolish. But I understand there's still people that want to relitigate that. That's not going to happen. And maybe Judge Schimmel could have been a little stronger on it, but I think he's basically saying to his listeners and potentially his voters, this is how I feel about what happened in 2020. I think we got one more clip from Judge Schimmel. We'll play that real quick here, and then we're going to go to break.
In 2020, the Wisconsin Supreme Court 3 liberals and 1 conservative decided not to hear the challenge from the Green Party. The Green Party was kept off the ballot by the Wisconsin Elections Commission on a technicality in their nomination papers. They came to the Supreme Court and demanded their right to be on the ballot. The Supreme Court said, we don't want to hear this case because it's too close to the election. We could affect the outcome of an election. I have said that was a mistake. The court should have heard the case, decided that issue, so we would know whether the Green Party had a right to be on the ballot or not. That did screw up an election because Donald Trump lost by 21,000 votes. The Green Party typically takes over 30,000 votes.
Judge Schimmel making the argument that a lot of election deniers make. Matter of fact is they ruled if you are a believer in the court being the highest court in the state, you live with that ruling, or in this case, the decision not to take that case. All right, quick break. Congressman Brian Style, my congressman, after this on 620 WTMJ.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
So Sidney Moncrief, Bucks legend, joins us in studio. How did your NBA career prepare you for the boardrooms that you're in each and every day?
It doesn't.
Wow, all right.
I wanted to take the concept of entrepreneurship and put it with a different lens, the lens of literacy. We need to understand these principles of literacy.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Had the big weigh-in yesterday after our reduction phase. 35 pounds. How about that? 2 months. It's the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. I could do it. You can do it. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. No drugs, no injections, no risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, no exercising if you don't want to exercise. Their program resets your metabolism, so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach who are outstanding for ongoing support. Get this, the program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as other programs. I'm a success story. I've lived the program along with my teammate Brian Noonan. Ask him about it. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com, schedule your free consultation. Most patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Schedule your free consultation. I'll go slow because my wife says I read this number too fast. 262-449-1180. 262-449-1180. Go online, MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Are you ready to shake things up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee? All you gotta do is toss your rewards card into your favorite slots for drawing entries and a chance to be in the Roll for Riches game show. What's on the table? Oh, just $300K in cash and prizes. Play this March, and Thursday nights, you could get on a winning streak that, frankly, you deserve. Let it ride and roll for riches. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times, that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint, it's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday edition. Had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with my congressman. You know him as Congressman Brian Style. I want to get his take on the debates in Wisconsin last night. Wisconsin Supreme Court. Good morning, Congressman. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Steve.
Absolutely. You watched the debate last night. I've watched it twice now. What are your takeaways from a conservative perspective?
Well, I thought Brad Schimmel did a great job explaining what the role of a justice is on the Supreme Court and showing how his background, how his resume suits him well for that position. I mean, he is a guy that comes from a background of being a prosecutor, being a judge, being our state's attorney general, and really being not soft on crime, actually booking people and putting bad guys away to make our communities more safe. And I thought that stood in stark contrast to where the liberal who's running, his opponent, has a real record of being soft on crime. And I think that's the reason you see George Soros, who has a record of backing real radical soft on crime prosecutors and judges across the country, pouring money into this race in support of her.
Let me ask you this question. I've asked a lot of guests this question lately on the issue of funding this campaign. You mentioned George Soros, who's been funding liberal candidates for a long time. Where's the concern on the other side? Elon Musk is the largest funder of this campaign, in this case for the conservative candidate, Brad Schimmel. Does that concern you?
Yeah, if I stepped back, I would say there's way too much money in our politics across the board. I don't personally love the Wisconsin campaign finance system where money gets poured into the state parties, wink, nod, and it's transferred over. And that's really a both sides issue. And so if I step back, I'd rather have the candidates control the funds themselves and have full disclosure as to where they're raising money from rather than the current regime. That said, that is current Wisconsin law. That's how the system is set up in Wisconsin. And then for the first time in a long time, conservatives are actually receiving money to counter the massive money that's coming in from out of state. And so I don't love it from either side, but I think it's worth pointing out in particular on the George Soros side that he has a real history of donating to very soft on crime and really radical district attorneys and judges across the country. But it's a fair point. I think there's way too much money in politics. I think we'd be far better off if people instead listen directly to the candidates in long-form interviews.
Congressman Brian Stile joining us on the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ. Do you agree with me that one of the factors in this race, I think that favors Judge Brad Schimmel, is the fact that he was Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin, considered by many, including people who maybe even didn't vote for him, as a strong leader from that position, the rule of law and order. Do you agree with that?
I do, and I think it's really, in addition to him being the Attorney General, it's really his resume across the board. I mean, this is an individual who has dedicated his career to public service, and those of us in particular who understand the legal system know that those people that dedicate themselves as prosecutors, as judges or attorney general are not there for the money. They're there because they're trying to make our state and our communities a better place. And so he has the knowledge and the acumen, but really a track record of being a fair, impartial judge, but also really being willing to stick his neck out and make the tough decisions to make sure that we're locking up bad guys and keeping them off the streets to keep our communities safe. And you contrast that with his opponent, who has a shorter resume, but really what concerns me, some of the real soft on crime sentences that are finally being highlighted. And we see that time and again in Dane County, some real radical judges who are failing to really step up and keep our community safe. And finally, that's being exemplified and shown to the whole state.
Real quick, I only got about 30 seconds. Are we going to get a budget deal done?
Boy, I hope so. No one wins when we shut down the federal government. The entire spending process in Washington, D.C. is a disaster. It all needs to be redone. But this game of brinksmanship, of shutting down, will be a mess. And this time, it's the Democrats and Chuck Schumer who are threatening that. And hopefully we keep this thing funded and live to fight another day.
All right. Always appreciate your time. I know you got a busy schedule. Congressman Brian Stile, welcome on the show anytime.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Sort of a quick look from a conservative perspective. We'll have Joe Zepecki countering what he thought about the debate last night. I know he watched it because he was texting me last night. Coming up in the next half hour, it's typically what we do on Thursday, our legal experts. Today, we got a good one, local attorney Matt O'Neill. A lot of conversation about the First Amendment, a lot of conversation about the Supreme Court decision that went against the president. We'll fire that up, and maybe we'll get to some of the Musk questions, funding questions about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. All of that's in an action-packed next half hour. I'm just getting warmed up, but I only got a half hour left, so I'm going to really have to get it all in. Thanks again to my guests in the first half hour. Love the fact that we could hear from those candidates. And again, Channel 12, kudos for the great work on the debate last night. That is, I don't like the word masterclass anymore because people overuse it too much. That's how it's supposed to be done. Jared and Jordan, Matt Smith, well done, gentlemen. We have local news with Adam Roberts. Before we get to any of that, here's the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Trump administration has pulled its nominee to lead the CDC. ABC's Karen Travers reports.
The White House has pulled the nomination of Dave Weldon, a former Florida congressman who was President Trump's pick to lead the Centers for Disease Control, just hours before his scheduled Senate confirmation hearing. That's according to multiple sources familiar with the decision. When he was nominated last year, Weldon, a longtime vaccine skeptic, was championed by allies of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has arrived in Russia for talks with officials on ending the war in Ukraine. Russia says the proposed 30-day ceasefire on the table that Ukraine has agreed to would give Ukraine's army a break, and because of that, it's not willing to agree to it now. Stocks falling once again, even as we found out today unemployment claims and wholesale prices held steady last week. The sell-off when President Trump threatened 200% tariffs on European spirits. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:31. I'm Adam Roberts. One person dead this morning after a shooting overnight on Milwaukee's northwest side. 56-year-old woman found shot to death near 107th and Stark. That's just west of Timmerman Airport. No one in custody this morning. One person is dead after possibly falling down a flight of stairs Monday night. This is near Mamma Mia's restaurant in West Dallas. Police found a 23-year-old man dead at the bottom of an exterior staircase near the restaurant at 86th and Greenfield. Investigators believe the man was running in the parking lot, failed to see the stairwell, and fell. There is no evidence of foul play. And final preparations continue for the official reopening of Trowbridge School in Milwaukee's Bayview neighborhood, which shut down earlier this month due to unsafe levels of lead dust. In a joint statement from MPS and the City of Milwaukee Health Department, lead hazard remediation efforts were successful after multiple rounds of cleaning and inspection. MPS is working to ensure students and staff only drink from filtered water stations within the school. Time now for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Stocks do continue their decline today. The Dow off 48 points at 41,303. The Nasdaq's down 108 at 17,540, and the S&P 500 down 14 points this hour at 5,584. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Checking the roads now, here are WTMJ Johnson and Sons Paving. Time saver traffic issues remain on 94 between the Marquette and the Zoo. We still got the left lane blocked due to a crash on 94 West at 35th Street, backup stretching towards 13th. In the other direction, we've got a crash on the ramp from Holly Road to 94 East, and backup stretching from that point both back to about 70th and then continuing to be slow through the stadium as people driving by the 35th Street crash pause to take a look. Also got some pretty serious backups on 94 East in the Zoo, heading to 894 South. Right lane blocked on that ramp due to a crash. Backups extending from Greenfield to the south all the way through past Highway 100 to the west. And your WTMJ forecast for today, mostly sunny, mild for most of us, mid-50s, lower 50s near the lake. Could get up to 60 far away from it. Partly cloudy, mild tonight down to 42. Mild again on Friday, 63 near the lake, 72 inland. Late in the day Friday towards the overnight, we are watching for rain and thunderstorms looking to move through. Saturday, mostly cloudy, a high of 61. The wind picks up and the temperatures fall into the day Sunday, 40 degrees with possible flurries, back up to 52 and mostly sunny on Monday. Right now in Stevens Point, mostly cloudy and 38. In Greenfield, it's mostly sunny and 43. And in Milwaukee, it is 37 degrees under mostly sunny skies. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:34.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Regular listeners to the program, Critical Power Hour, by the way, Steve Scaffidi, the host, know that Thursday is our legal edition. And I didn't want to get away from that, but I just had an opportunity to talk about the Supreme Court debate last night. And we'll actually start that conversation, or continue that conversation, with my guest, local attorney Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Steve.
All right, so we played both the candidates, Susan Crawford from Dane County, and Judge Schimmel, Brad Schimmel from I keep screwing that up, Waukesha County. I got to go slower. Their comments about funding in the campaign. I had Congressman Brian Stile on, who mentioned George Soros, but didn't mention Elon Musk. I've asked a lot of guests this question, and I guess I'm going to ask you this question because you're someone who has an opinion, an informed opinion, and probably a legal one as well. I think we can all agree that there's too much of this going on. There's insane funding. This will break another record, which is, I think, unfortunate. Some people may disagree. But when you see the amount of money, and I guess the latest total is somewhere going to be around $10 million from Elon Musk to the Brad Schimmel campaign, and he can't control that, which is
correct.
Is the
by law?
Yeah, by law, he can't have anything to do with that. And the way we've allowed this to happen is they can just pump as much money as they want into this race, and maybe $10 million is not even the ceiling. Maybe it's higher than that. What do you make of this? And the other one is, of course, George Soros, who's been funding liberal candidates forever. There's no way to fix this other than changing the law, right?
Right. And it will be difficult at this point to ever turn back that clock. Because it's First Amendment. And what the First Amendment jurisprudence has developed to say is that anybody acting independent of a candidate can spend as much as they want to say whatever they want in support of or in opposition to a candidate. That was Citizens United said on the back end, corporate money can't be given directly to campaigns or candidates, but corporations and other people can use as much as they want to tell the public what they think, as long as it's not coordinated. And I don't see in any timescape that I'm still going to be alive in that changing. So that's where we are.
Let me play president for a second. Let's say I run for president. I win the next time, 2028. I sign an executive order that says no more of this stuff. Citizens United? No, not going to happen.
It's not going to go any farther than the birthright citizenship executive order.
That hasn't been decided yet.
You can't. It will be in. It's going to be struck down. You cannot change the Constitution by fiat, nor can you change the existing precedent interpreting the Constitution.
All right, let's make the First Amendment argument. So we are allowing citizens, United or otherwise, to make their opinions known about candidates. Is that the best way to do this?
It's the way, I think, in a democratic society that has turned out to be the best, right? We would rather have more information and have to fight information with other information than bottle up people and not have people get information about candidates. The problem is the level of the ads and the things that are saying has become so negative. It's so dispiriting. Every time you turn on the TV now, no matter what you want to watch, no matter where you are, you're going to see some insult to Brad Schimmel or some insult to Susan Crawford, and that is just abominable. As far as the rate of what's going on, I will say this about George Soros, who seems to be the punching bag for conservatives. He at least gave his money to the Wisconsin Democratic Party, which then gave funds directly to the Crawford campaign. So that messaging comes directly from her campaign. Elon Musk is spending outside of Brad Schimmel's campaign, and so he's just spending a penny of his fortune. I'm not sure why, but to say what he wants to say, and Brad Schimmel
maybe
has
Donald
no control
Trump
over
asked him
that.
to.
Is that how it happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, obviously we don't know that. So is that the distinction then? Soros gave his money to the Democratic Party. Musk is just spending it independently.
Correct. And the fact that the parties can give unlimited to candidates was something that the conservative state legislature put in place, I think, 10, 12 years ago.
Matt O'Neill from the local law firm, Fox O'Neill and Shannon. We're going to spend some time continuing our conversation about the First Amendment. Interesting case from Columbia University. And what happens when a protester, in the mind of the president and the Department of Justice, goes too far? This one has to do with Mahmoud Khalil, who is being threatened with expulsion from the country. Interesting First Amendment case. Matt will discuss that after this on 620 WTMJ.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes and is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you'll be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 5-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why Annex Wealth Management presents the Women in Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women in Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Well, spring is quickly approaching, and it's the perfect time for you to get an awning installed, so it's ready once the temps warm up. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Until March 21st, you can receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Never say no to Christopher Cross. That's my music message of the day. I love it. Actually, he's on my bucket list of people I want to see in concert. I have his albums, and I love his music. I just played it the other day at the house, or the estate, as I like to call it now. Just kidding. Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon. Let's talk about the First Amendment, because I'll go off on sidetracks, and nobody wants to hear those probably, except Christopher Cross fans. Interesting case, Columbia University protester Mahmoud Khalil, apparently now held in federal custody, threatened with deportation. This is sort of the byproduct of the protests against Israel on campuses, and many on that side of the aisle, pro-Palestinian, would argue they're expressing their First Amendment rights. Does the government have the rights, especially in certain classifications of people who are here temporarily, maybe for college or other reasons, business reasons, work reasons, to detain them and then expel them from the country based on what they say?
So the answer to that is no, almost categorically.
Why did you say that?
Well, for Mahmoud Khalil, for one, he was a green card holder. He was not here on a student visa, which was the first premise that they were ripping him from his home on last Saturday night. But the second reason is the First Amendment does guarantee speech, including for permanent legal residents like Mr. Khalil. And the government, it is patently unconstitutional to round somebody up, take them away from home, shuttle them down to Louisiana, which is, I think, where they took him, all for things he said in the past. Now, I said not categorically. What they're relying on is an old 1940s era law called the Immigration and Nationality Act that gives the Secretary of State the singular power to deport persons, including people who here on a green card, if the Secretary of State concludes that that person is a potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the country. And
does that meet the level of yeah, that makes sense.
That's the thinnest reed in the world to pull out a recently graduated college student for leading protests against a war and just taking a position on one side.
Does it make a difference that it happened at a university? And I think Columbia is private, right?
It is.
Yeah. Does that make a difference?
It shouldn't make any difference.
The university can't control what happens on their campus?
The university took some steps to try to put some controls on those protests, and that was the big developing story over the past 18 months, right? And it was difficult and it was hard and it got all sorts of people in trouble. But their primary concern was to prevent any kind of threats or actual violence among students and among different groups. And I think Columbia did their best. Young people are pretty passionate about these things, particularly when there's a war going on and what was happening in Gaza. And they have the right to speak. And the idea that the government can say, we don't like the side you're on, we're going to round you up and ship you off is a chilling, awful, horrifying, and it may be the worst thing that's happened since this administration started.
Second chapter of this story is the government is now threatening funding for universities based on some of the conduct that happened on their campuses. What do you think?
I think that is equally abhorrent. There was a letter sent by Linda McMahon, of all people, but she is the Secretary of the Department of Education, to 60 universities, including University of Wisconsin-Madison, informing those universities that they need to get on board and enforce to, I guess, the administration standards, Title VI in protecting Jewish students. And the theory there is that by allowing students to voice their First Amendment concerns about a war that's ongoing, they're acting in an anti-Semitic way that requires the school to do something about it.
Is there a distinction for violent protests?
100%. And if there were violent protests and the universities turned the other way and allowed it or encouraged it, they would be violating Title VI, and that would actually engender some proper response from the Department of Education.
Matt O'Neill on the Thursday legal edition of Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ. Ultimately, this is going to be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court, do you think?
I do.
And you never can guess what the Supreme Court's going to do, but on this one, I think you feel pretty confident the First Amendment will be protected. Yes?
I do. And in particular, Steve, and I told you this the other day, the vote by Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett in the case involving the
USAID?
The USAID funds to be paid out that had already been appropriated and the work had been done. Those two switched and voted with the court's three more liberal justices to say, no, the government does have to pay those funds. And that is a sign, a harbinger, that this court is not for sale and it is not a certainty that is going to put a stamp on everything the administration wants to do. And in this kind of a case that has echoes of Korematsu, I think not only those two, but my guess is that that Justice Brett is going to join them.
Interesting.
Kavanaugh, I think, on this issue will come out on the side of the First Amendment.
Any idea on the timeline when we might see that these cases get there and then a decision?
Yeah, it's going to be a busy year for the Supreme Court. All of these are going to go on a relatively expedited calendar, and I expect these decisions to start rolling out within the next 2 to 3 months.
He is Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon. We're going to take a quick break here and then closing arguments. And we let Matt go where he wants to go, and I might respond. We'll see what Matt has to say. I have no idea what he's going to talk about, so we'll see where he's going. That's all next right here on 620 WTMJ.
So, you think your new star puts you up there with the best?
To see somebody of Luca's caliber be traded like this, you don't see that happening very often.
Well, just wait till we show you how we do it here in the Midwest.
Where are you from?
Dude, I'm from Lake Michigan.
Dribble. LeBron takes off. Blocked by Giannis at the rim.
The Bucks host the Lakers in Milwaukee. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6.
Giannis blocks the king at the rim.
We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi Avenue. I just had this conversation with somebody away from the show. Don't be a snorer. Don't be a bad bed partner. My goodness. I was that person. 5 years ago, I went to Advent. They fixed it. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. At a free consultation with Advent, 30-minute visit. Put me at ease, answer my questions. Now, everybody's different problems, different solutions. For me, it was sinuses and nasal passage, which is very common, the breathing triangle, as they call it. After a short procedure in office, breathing better than ever, all the oxygen I need, all the great sleep that I need. And if you're one of those tossers and turners or those who have restless nights of sleep, what are you waiting for? If you struggle like I did or used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. Do not wait, folks, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Celebrity or Holland America, or design your own bucket list adventure with Globus. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now it's time for your closing arguments.
All right, it's time for our attorney friend here, Matt O'Neill, to shine. Closing arguments. You have the floor, Matt.
Steve, the First Amendment to the Constitution is the first one for a reason. It is, I believe, the most important of all the amendments to protect our country, our way of life, and the freedoms that we all cherish. And two of the core protections in that First Amendment are the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly. And those two rights are under frontal attack from this administration. In the past week, the administration and parts of the administration have taken actions full force going against the First Amendment, probably the worst attack that I can recall ever hearing about. I learned about Korematsu in law school, and I was horrified to think that we just rounded up people and threw them in internment camps because we were afraid of who they were. But in this just past week, we've seen the detention of Mr. Khalil, who is living here. He's married. His wife's 8 months pregnant, and he was arrested for his speech. We've seen threats to college, including Madison, for basically allowing protests, allowing students to voice their opinions. We've seen a letter from the acting U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. to Georgetown Law School saying, if you don't take DEI out of your curriculum, stop teaching it and stop doing it, I'm not going to hire your graduates. That's gross. And we've seen a series now of actions by the president targeting two law firms that he doesn't like what they did, Perkins Coie and Covington Burling, saying you're no longer going to have your clearances and you're no longer going to have contracts with the government because I don't like you. All of those things are nothing but an assault on the First Amendment and the way our country has operated for 200 plus years. And my hope, my dear, dear hope is that our court system, our judges, who have been standing up for the First Amendment for centuries will do so here because we need it. And if we lose this, we are truly on a path that I can't even imagine.
If the judges make a decision that reaffirms the First Amendment and other amendments, frankly, and the president is faced with that reality, how do you think that's going to go down in the White House, in the Oval Office? I don't know that this president's going to accept whatever the Supreme Court says if it doesn't go in his favor.
Well, in the First Amendment context, the court can make orders that the administration will be able to do nothing about. I think the coming face-off about an order from the court that the administration disagrees with and will not follow will fall in some other context. So I think while there will be anger in decisions based on the First Amendment, I do expect they will be respected, and I do know that all my friends on both sides of the aisles do actually cherish and treasure the First Amendment.
Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon. I always appreciate our time and you sharing your wisdom and well-argued points today. As always, wait till next time. We'll do it again in a few weeks. Matt O'Neill, thanks for joining the program. Great guest today, Brian Style. We heard from the candidates for the U.S. Supreme Court. Again, kudos to Channel 12 for hosting that debate last night. I don't often praise local broadcasters, but that was a job well done and a necessary listen or watch. But if you haven't gotten a chance, you can go to their website and you can watch the whole thing. It's only 59 minutes. Take the time. You want to learn about the candidates. See them, because we don't often see the real candidates up close and personal. That's your opportunity. The news and the upswing are next on 620 WTMJ.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you.